Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Chrissy Sawyer here. Happy eclipse. It is the total solar eclipse today, happening in Aries, Western, Pisces, Sidereal. And here we have the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And rather than make a choice between Western and sidereal astrology, feel into the energy and see what's activating for you. And so what I've done is I have randomly chosen to build the container 4 cards from the elements deck. And the first one out is neodymium, coming in on that beautiful 60 energy. The perfection of the heart, the cosmic heart, the connection, and harmonizing with, well, yourself really at a universal level. Neodymium, iron, boron alloys are the basis for the most powerful permanent magnets used in headphones, disk drives, and motors, and commonly known as neodymium magnets or rare earth magnets. So we have magnetism coming in. With headphones and listening. And then we have hydrogen, the first element. By weight, 75% of the visible universe is hydrogen, a colorless gas. In space, vast quantities interact with starlight to create spectacular sights, such as the Eagle Nebula seen by Hubble. Speaks to love as a vast quantity. And next we have cerium. Cerium is one of the least expensive rare earths and is the major component of misch metal, M-I-S-C-H, misch metal, used in lighter flints because it catches fire easily when struck. Larger blocks are used for sparking special effects. So we have light anomalies and special effects. And catching fire easily when struck. Okay, I'll speak to Aries and Chiron in a moment. And of course, plutonium is here. So this is a plutonium pacemaker battery case. And fortunately, it is empty. If it were full, possession of it anywhere outside the body would be a crime. All no longer needed plutonium batteries must go home to Los Alamos. I don't know anything about Los Alamos. I'm taking it that's the funeral site for plutonium batteries. '94 speaks to the 13-4, the death and the rebirth. Okay. I have a few notes. Be authentic in who you present yourself to be. That's the first note that came in. And what this is speaking to is what feels like a larger bifurcation of the pretended self and the true self. And that might look like the difference between obedience programming. You can find that everywhere, find that. Or the choice to experience life on your own terms. And I'm just tapping into some tension in the body here. So there's a nervousness coming in here about, well, it's the freedom of self-expression. Okay, so I'm just going to stay with that. So in Western astrology, we have the sun and moon and Pisces, the sun and moon and Chiron all conjunct at 19 degrees. Sun, moon, Chiron are conjunct at 19 degrees. Okay. And in sidereal astrology, they're still conjunct. It's a looser conjunction, but it's around that 19 to 24, I think, or 17 to 24 degrees. And for me, what this is bringing in is the end of the cycle and the beginning of the cycle. And particularly with Pisces, is that heavy Chiron wounding around victim martyr consciousness, around where we haven't felt free and powerful and confident to make choices that might be a little unconventional, let's say, to walk your own path, maybe swim against the tide. It's that kind of energy. Be different. It's that kind of energy. And one of the things I've seen come in quite thick is religious programming. And I'm not going to speak into it because I'm going to bring in a deck that I haven't used for ages. And we're going to use the archetype cards. And this feels sufficiently old-fashioned now to kind of churn up some of those old archetypes. So we'll see what comes out with those. So tension in the body, I've seen in the collective in the last few days. And that might be just a simple piece of work to kind of tune into the body to find that tension. And then just imagine yourself putting old baggage, old suitcases, just putting it down and walking away. And knowing that energy will then transmute and be used. It will just go back into the collective to be used for something else. Yeah. And the other big message I've been getting is about your place in the orchestra. Now, in numerology, one of the codes that you can discover in your date of birth is your instrument, your place in the orchestra, and your song. So instrument and place in the orchestra are made up of your day and month. Now, if you want a numerology reading, just drop me an email to hello@zeta.ophiuchi.com and I'll put you in touch with my teacher. Because it's feeling very much like there's like give me the words. It's a calling, it's a dare, it's a challenge to step up and be that thing that we're talking about. And there's also this bigger energy coming in. Well, I mean, we've got Pluto on the table of, yes, death and transformation. But it's about getting beyond the personal. That's what's coming in with this eclipse. It's about getting beyond the personal. And this is bigger than me. And this is not about me. So when you know your instrument and your place in the orchestra, you might discover something new about yourself. And, you know, we've got Uranus, Jupiter conjunction coming up 21st of April. And that might aggrandize something which leans into the ego. So if it feels important, like if you're leaning into labels, have a look at that. Because it might be that you've come here to make people laugh. It could be that simple and elegant. And what's that thing you've always done? Well, actually, I always make people laugh. Okay. Okay. So that's an authentic strength. Do you have to work at that? Do you have to think about that, plot that, and plan that? So I think authenticity is the essence of this eclipse. And let's go to the archetypes and speak to archetypes that are ready to be transformed, let's say. Questioned, challenged, put down. Well, that one's ready to go. Oh, this is very interesting. Right. Underlying card is pioneer. Mm. So on the table, we have networker, guide, artist, mother, and judge. And what if we start with the shadow attributes of these archetypes? So first of all, I'm noticing that I'm surprised with these archetypes. So I'm just noticing that. So networker, shadow attribute of networker is conveys information only for personal gain, spreads fear and falsehood. Mm. I had a beautiful download this morning about labels, identity, false promises, self-aggrandizement is coming in. I think that might be part of the Jupiter-Uranus convention. So that's leaning into the guru mentality. Personal gain. Okay, let's go to the guide. Thank you. Yeah. I think this is going to be slow coming together because part of the beginning of this Pluto cycle is uh, uh, in the absence of quick wins and instant gratification, what then? That's the energy. Guide, shadow attribute, places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. Something about eroding a sense of self-importance is coming in here. Artist, shadow attribute, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. So covert behavior, covert and manipulative behavior. And might also speak to the money wound. Okay. Mother, smothering or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. So this speaks to ancestral shaming, where the child surpasses the parent, and there is the fork in the road. That's the choice point of, do I be greater than my ancestors, or do I hold myself back to fake humility? That's right. Thank you. I watched a trailer for a film yesterday, which I won't watch, and it's a true story, documentary film about a young African boy who wants more than anything to be a ballet dancer. And the first part of this trailer was him dancing on the red earth of Africa and just knowing nothing about ballet, but making these shapes and these movements and grace. And it's like you can almost see the energy spiraling up, totally in his beauty, totally in his authenticity. And he's doing it. Okay. Then in comes England, who spots him and invites him to study at their school of ballet for 5 years. So he leaves Africa, big, painful, sorrow, goodbye. Mom giving him just every nudge to go do this thing. And then it cuts to him in this school, and a ballet teacher, man, totally in his ego. You think this is hard, you wait. There's the guilt. You think this is hard now, you wait. And the camera pans to him in the corner, and the light has gone out of his eyes. The spirit and the fire is quelled. And then the next clip is a telephone call to his mother to say, your boy has been taken into hospital with mental health something. And then the last clip is this little boy speaking to camera saying, I don't want to let my mom down. That's perfect. Thank you. That's why I watched that clip now. He doesn't want to let mum down because he adores the very ground she walks on. So it comes from a basis of love. But what it doesn't inspire him to do, thank you. What it doesn't inspire him to do is to keep tuning into his fire and going, is this what I want? Is this what I want? He wants to be great in mum's eyes. Can he be great in his eyes? What was that other bit? It's to do with guilt. He's 13 years old, by the way. If it's important, it'll come back to me. There's another piece come back to me. I was going to open the video by saying I've had so many downloads and I've been so lazy and I've hardly written down any of them, but I'm hoping the ones I need will come back. So yeah, this little boy, this beautiful dancing spiral of energy came to England and lost his light. Now, might turn out that, you know, he's this brilliant star, but he was already that. dancing on the earth of Africa. He was already in his starlight. But how that translates into the physical might look like this. It's to do with labels, isn't it? This, one of the downloads is to do with labels and the seeking of labels, the seeking of the validation of a label. But the label doesn't define you, your spirit and how you let the spirit move you. Is what brings you into that authentic expression. I feel a bit sick now. This is kind of, the field is working up now. And this energy of the suppression of spiritual will. Ooh, that's it. That's what all these cards are speaking to, the suppression of spiritual will. Final card, Judge. Shadow attribute of Judge, offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to bring it. A long time ago, when I was researching my lineage, I came across one of my ancestors who stole a loaf of bread and was then transported to Australia. And I think he was 16 or 17, and he stole the loaf of bread, obviously, to feed his family. And it was nothing to do with punishment or correction. It was to do with England had taken Australia. How do we populate it? Well, we'll run the population, we'll filter, siphon people from all over the world and take them there to colonize. That's the word, to colonize. And that is an abuse of power. Hmm. Oh, crikey me. It wasn't going to be light, was it? So it looks like there's something really big being worked on. Leanne, thank you. One of my subscribers left a brilliant comment. I can't remember it now. I think unconscious mind, conscious mind. And this is space time. And this is what I've been doing, is because shadow work is about bringing the unconscious into consciousness. Okay. So I'm going to bring, this is a really old astrology deck. And it's been calling to me. So I'm going to bring it in. And this deck has house cards, planet cards, and astro cards, except for Ophiuchi. Okay, show me. Okay. So, Scorpio, 8th house, shared resources. Okay, I've got Uranus and Jupiter coming in here because that's going to happen in the 2nd house of Taurus, which opposes. So Taurus is about personal resource. Scorpio is shared resource. And I haven't even looked at the North Node. We're conjunct North Node as well, which means we're activating the South Node. So Scorpio, intense energy, masterful, thoughtful, magnetically charming, but also secretive and possessive. So we have that magnet. Is it neodymium? The powerful permanent magnets hidden in the 8th house, maybe? Entanglements. Magnetize us into old behaviors, old beliefs and behaviors. So, Scorpio, Aries, Pisces. This energy is wistful, endlessly loving, compassionate, and forgiving. It confuses and softens resolve. I love that statement. It confuses and softens resolve, which in itself is a confusing statement. Okay, so confusion. Saturn. Challenging us to take action. The part of you that accepts challenge to gain wisdom. And Saturn, bear with me. Saturn is in Aquarius, sidereal, and Pisces, Western. Okay. Okay, I can see what's forming here. So it's like Saturn in Pisces wants to bring order to the chaos. Order, formulated thinking, and action taking on the nebulous and ineffable, which speaks to you won't know the answer before you do it. And sometimes it's just going to be about taking a punt. Because when we take a chance on ourselves, that's how we grow confident. We don't grow confident doing the same thing because we know we're good at it. We kind of do, but you know, to really enhance that self-confidence is to do something that might feel a bit scary. Libra, South Node. Then, yeah, I'm just being reminded that the nodes in sidereal are Pisces and Virgo. So I don't do this to confuse you. I just do it so you can tap into the energy, because energy doesn't lie. Archetypes can lead us down tram lines into preformed thought. But this time is about thinking for ourselves, really, in new ways. Libra, this energy is diplomatic and gracious. It seeks harmony and balance in relationships. Yeah, I'm going to go to the star codes because that's giving me something that connects with that. It's giving me the shadow side of Libra, which might speak to abuse of personal power, abuse of law, business. And we have the masculine now. Okay. So we have masculine fire coming in at heart level, which may speak to our chemical union. This energy is flamboyant, dramatic, proud, and passionate. It focuses on the importance of self-belief. Okay. Underlying card, it's Taurus. Abundance of nature, rich, earthy, productive, yet relaxed and slow. Productive, thank you. There's another download. Productivity and inspiration. Productivity and inspiration as an equation. And what I've noticed the last 10 days, 2 weeks is when a new thought comes in, because there's a part of me that wants to do something, create something, that ignition energy, which we're going to get with Aries. So that ignition energy, and I could go off and do something in the old way of thinking, or I can sit and tune into it and go, nah, that's not lighting my fire. That's not enough. That's not enough. And so I'm sitting and I'm waiting for a plot twist. I know something's coming because my heart's lighting up and my solar plexus is activating and I have more energy. Okay, so I know something is energizing and activating. But unless it sets me on fire and blows my heart wide open, I'm just going to wait for the plot twist. And that's going to challenge every ounce of productivity addiction I may still have in me. Thank you. Right, let's go astro. Wow. Okay, these are alive. Let's slow down. Slow down. Beautiful. Okay. I had another lovely download about Kundalini. It'll come if it needs to come. Ah, I can't make this up. What's the underlying? Oh. 14.5 is about communication. We're in Mercury retrograde. It's about communication, the freedom of personal expression. It's about publishing, writing, making vids. It's about getting the message out there. There may be discomfort there. I can't make this up. because Aries just might want to run at it. Devoid of that personal expression. Don't know what that was. Is the energy of Aries in touch with its spiritual will? Or is it in the I am? Doesn't need to be one or the other. In the spiritual will, we're serving something bigger than ourselves, feeding something, enlivening, uplifting, affecting. So affecting, I'm going to stay with that. Something bigger than ourselves. Okay. That's where we find our place in the orchestra. But Aries, cardinal leadership, cardinal fire. Aries leads. Aries might feel discomfort in that 9th house of Sagittarius, 47. Spiritual will, it's fusing light into matter. It's spiritual will. 47, 11, 2 is I just got doing as you're told. It's kind of this, if you've brought it in, you might notice the intellect comes straight in to tweeze it or tease it into a shape that is comfortable or fits or belongs, but actually then becomes the same. And so we might overcompensate the sameness by going into guru, selling it, by selling it. Second house, Taurus, resources, personal resources, coming in on that 40. So this is pulling the power. It's pulling the power out of the 8th house. This might be the end of some relationships. It might be the relationship between you and your bank manager. It might be the relationship between you and what feeds you as you learn to feed yourself from that 2nd house of resource. That's the debilitation. The aggrandizement of artistry. Oof. The Damien Hirst of it all. No disrespect, Damien, but it's too easy, mate. You stick diamonds on a skull, that's going to go for big bucks. But does that light your fire? Is that your spirit? Okay, I'm going to read this inverted. 10th house of authority does speak to Saturn. Authority. Whose authority? Whose authority? 48. Okay. 4 April 8, 2024 is the 12th-3, which is about governance. Self-governance or being governed? So the year is an 8, the month is a 4, which equals the 12-3. Yeah. Oh. Here's the journey. Crikey, this is amazing. All of these cards are going, stop and think again. I'm going to read them to you. It's going to be a big one. Get yourselves a cuppa. I love these long ones. Okay. tension. And 20 is the day code. 848 is 20. That's giving me the wounding, the softness, the wounding of the softness, the wounding of the sensitivity. Sensitive to change. Thank you. Sensitive to change. Okay. So for the last 3 days, I've been feeling the effects of solar radiation. So I've kind of had a retrograde back to January, February, when I was talking a lot about the boiling brain. And so the top of the skull is just overheating, and my central nervous system is highly activated. But there's no solar activity. But I know that that's true because I know solar radiation now very well, having studied it for almost a year. And so do I allow what we know and what we can evidence, galactic weather, to change my mind? Do I allow that to change my mind and conform? Or do I stay with, no, I know what I'm feeling? Personal authority. Interestingly, Stefan Burns, link is in the description box, his last video talked about the part of the sun that's facing the earth is almost inactive, like tiny, tiny sunspot. The part that was really active a couple of weeks ago is now facing outwards towards Jupiter and Uranus and Eris, activating those, which I find really interesting. I hope that made sense. So Mercury, messages. And the sword of truth. It's true. You don't have to agree. You don't even have to understand me. That's what I understand at the moment. Leo again. Oh, yeah. 5 wants change. This is the mind coming in. Shine. In reverse, activate. Now here's the slow down warning. Solar flares. Oh, solar flares. In the literal sense, will activate your central nervous system. In Aries season, Western, Pisces, Eastern, that might move you, drive you to I don't know what. Wait. Oh, thank you. Another one. They're all coming in. I don't need to write them down anymore. I woke up the other morning with one message repeated 3 times. Don't commit. That was the message. Don't commit, don't commit, don't commit. Because we are in a Mercury retrograde. We are in an eclipse, the second of the first half of the year. We're coming up to the biggest conjunction of the year. Don't commit. Pause. So this is dropping into the pause. Balance. Find your balance. Personal care. 7 is the mystic. That is using the light. How am I bringing this light in and fusing it into the body? What am I making with this light? Because if it isn't new, we're doing the same thing. This is where you practice again to get lost. How are you? I'm lost. Okay. Wait for the calm, because then will come the clarity. Wait until it settles. 16:7, use or abuse. Tower energy. Wait for the tower to come down. Mars. Okay, that might be part of the pause. A lot of energy. Pallas Athena. I always think of Pallas Athena as the female CEO, the feminine in control. Coming in on that 30. Bringing in the blueprint. So this is the Mercury. This is the rethink. So this whole story is like you might build up a head of steam and you might want to take immediate action, pause, drop into that reversal. Think creatively and artistically. 30 brings in the blueprint. Yes, learn how to dance with Neptunian energies. 26-8 again speaks to karma, Pisces. Really the immortal wounding. Okay. God, it's genius. You know, it's genius. If I could write a program to hijack the psyche, I couldn't have done better than what exists on Earth to kill the spirit, to kill the harnessing of spirit in the individual. And it's all changing. It's all eroding. It's amazing. People are turning to themselves. And so this is where we learn to swim in those deep waters of Neptune, which can be obfuscating. Big karmic clear up here. Yeah. And a new invitation. So can you feel the energy has slowed down? Is this waiting for the plot twist? Practicing 37-10-1. Oh God, birthing the light. I love this. This is like, for me, this is star energy. Starlight energy, fracturing the existing light, bringing in the new prisms. Oh. Seeing light in a different way, seeing yourself in a different way, seeing the light within you, the invitation. There's a lot of energy coming in here. This is making the unconscious conscious. The descendant is like the bottom, the ascendant is, I believe, where the sun was rising when we were born. The descendant is the shadow, wanting to birth that light. Wow. From the elbow, wanting to birth the light from the elbow. I wonder what meridian is there. That's hurting. Come home to build a new foundation with the blending and the harmony of the feminine and the masculine, the straight lines and the cycles, the circles. This is the feminine coming into the masculine container to build it. Yeah, this kind of dreamscape energy here. Okay, I'm just going to bring it in. I watched a Disney film the other day called Wish. Wow. It was profound. It was about the taking and keeping of wishes for personal gain. Very interesting. Third house, communication. And staring at me is Gemini, the third house of communication. So this might be it's just a change in relationship, change in relationship to self, change in relationship to other. And if we're building confidence and independence. Independent free thought that will send ripples into that seventh house of relationship. It has to, or we're conforming. If there are no ripples in how we birth our spirit into life, how we fuse inside elements to birth that spirit and bring that into being, if there are no ripples, no raised eyebrows, no, you can't do that, then are we really doing anything different? Yeah, beautiful. Wow, that was gorgeous. Thank you. Where am I going now? Don't know where I'm going. Okay. Ooh. Here I'm literally getting the masculine and the feminine. Pride, 19 degrees, conjunction with Chiron. What is this speaking to? Okay, yeah. So I'm just noticing that my 10th rib on left side has activated, which led me on this big journey, which I'm just editing to bring you the highlights, which led me, so the activation of that lower rib led me to learn about superfluous ribs. 10th, I think it's the 10th, 11th rib. And superfluous because they are the two ribs at the bottom. I think it's one or two ribs at the bottom that are only connected posterior, whereas all the ribs connect to the manubrium, so they're connected anterior and posterior, which took me to Adam and Eve and the spare rib and woman being created for the pleasure of a man. And that took me into this really big process. And that's what I'm getting here. I'm getting masculine pride, domestic harmony. Yeah. And what if the harmony can be found within the self, the masculine learning to sit in his Neptune, learning to sit in his feminine, and the feminine learning to sit in her Leo to activate the inner king. Yeah. I don't want to speak to that. Gender. I think it's the Hermetic principle of gender. There is masculine and feminine in everything. And we've been leaning so hard into the feminine these past, I don't know, 10 years with all the woman's work, the feminine work. And there's a question in there for me about what work are you doing with your inner masculine? Because you can rise to, labels, priestess, queen, whatever. But if your priestess is your hierophant online, if your queen is your king online, and vice versa, get those two into alignment, and the 46 can birth through that 10-1, the initiatic light. And that can go. This is a big shift, people. We need to take this one slowly. Am I going there? We need to take this one slowly. It's going to be unpacking for months, tons of learning, loads of modules to download, right and right and right. Okay, let's start wrapping this up, please. By the way, welcome new subscribers. And I want to say thank you to everybody that commented on that last video. You brought so much light to it, like you weave extra strands into. This is how we build together. Beautiful. Yeah. Gosh. Oh, okay. So the underlying card has activated my right leg from the knee down. And is unlocking an old timeline. Because right foot is past, left foot is the present. So the new timelines might be activating your left foot. And the underlying card is destiny. Look at the key. The key is at the back. The key is at the back. It's in the shadow. And that is coming in with knowledge. It's beautiful. It's hermit energy with this, the lantern. And defense, that's stinging scorpion. Okay. The defense might come in with the letting go. Yeah, thank you. Another one of the messages I had recently, which was for somebody I was working with, not professionally, was about the letting go can trigger the dread of what's coming, but actually sometimes the letting go can be the significator that you're already there. You're already there and you've been doing it. You're just kind of attached to the old timeline because that has some kind of safety in it. So it becomes this leap without a leap because we're already in it. But the old programming is turning us away from the acknowledgement, the self-acknowledgement. Did that, tick, in that, doing that now, that, million miles away from that. And Neptune can obfuscate that very obvious, palpable truth. I think I've been saying this for a while. Many of us are already doing it. So defense, so knowledge is speaking about, even with this, there's a twist. It's speaking about inner knowledge, which is authentic and unique, and outer knowledge learned from a book. And do we have the discernment to know that that isn't moving us? This is what we're looking for, the essence of the movement. Does this move me? Or does my intellect like it? Can my intellect work with it? Because, it would be like if somebody asked me to write a workshop, yeah, I'd do that. That's easy money for me. But is there any joy and passion in it? Not really. I prefer to be with people. I prefer to workshop live. And so I don't sell out. And that's where that was the punchline. So I don't sell out. Yeah, stop accepting scraps. Yeah. Oh, wearing a sun visor to mask your glow, and the visor's going to come off. It's like this beam. And I can't squash it back in. I can't hide it. Everybody can see my beam. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Same story. This is beautiful. Oh, look at this underlying. I'm just going to keep going. The underlying story here is gorgeous. Cast away negativity, which might be as simple as it's just an old belief. I thought I was this, but actually I'm this, and I've been this for a while. My mind hasn't caught up, maybe. Safe travels in the realms. Good fortune. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Change means overcoming fear. Again, we just had that message. Overcoming fear. What's that? As we move more deeply into intuition, passion. Oh, that's beautiful. It's masculine coming online a little bit more and a little bit more. Yeah, here's the masculine look. Growth of energy. Ah, birthing. And leadership. Pallas Athena. Okay, I am going to wrap this up now with a cheeky abundance card. Let's wrap this up, please. And then I'm going to find food because this has made me very, very hungry. Let's have a final message, please. Self-worth is not self-esteem. Self-esteem leans on that. Self-worth leans into spirit. It's the spirit you had when you were little, before the first wounding. You have been worthy to belong to love all along, without any need to improve. In fact, you are love itself. Look into the eyes of a child and tell me you don't see love expressed freely and without any guardedness. Wouldn't it be amazing? 8 billion lighthouses walking around the earth. Amazing. Okay, I'm going to love you and leave you. And I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, subscribe, and drop me a comment. And I'll see you all again soon. Take care.